All right, hey everybody, it's Nathaniel Avila reporting from Dallas County, and I'm also here with Ruby and I don't know who some other person, also from Dallas
Serenity, the
County.
grudge.
Yeah, and we're also joined with Jin Yan from
Yay!
reporting from Greater Orlando. How
Hello,
are you doing
guys.
today? And
Good, good. How are you
and I'm doing
guys?
great. So where are you from, Jane?
Okay, so I'm originally from China, so I come here to study films, and right now I'm living here and keep continue to finding a job and just searching for myself in this film industry.
Awesome. And you're currently doing some editing, right? For like a Korean
Yeah, I'm
TV?
currently yes. I'm actually not working for them anymore, but I used to work for them as an editor. I editing some TikTok videos, like for them to create some content for them. And I think it's a pretty interesting job because I actually never really into the TikTok. Like
Mm-hmm.
I maybe sometimes will watch the TikTok, but I never really learn how to editing them because it's actually pretty different from you editing to a film or something like we usually do. So it's actually pretty a new experience, and I think I'm pretty happy about that job.
That's awesome. So you're an editor as well. That's just basically what I was making a
Yeah, yeah,
point
I
about.
am.
You're an editor, and is that what you primarily do?
Uh,
Editing.
and no, editor is not my first choice. I mean, producer always is my top choice.
Okay.
But you have to be improvise sometimes and to be kind of like do the multitask. So I like editing; it's fun, and also like I want to improve my editing skills. So also like I'm also doing some producing job for my friends when we making some short films, like also so do the both. I think that's great. Why not, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, great. So you have a friend just like I do with Nate.
Yeah,
We just
yes.
kick butt together and make some films,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, and
We
then
love
also
film.
Jane here was also the. I remember she was supposed to be my producer for the Electric Strings
Yeah,
film.
unfortunately we got
That
into
All
this
right.
pandemic,
yeah.
but I still miss that. I really want to make that project work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We'll
we weren't able
see. We
to.
still have some time because we're really focusing on this project that we have going on for this week, and
Oh,
that's
that's
our main
the
concern right
story is
now.
amazing one. Like
But
we already lost it, and also we do the. I mean, Nate has already have some music right for them for that
Oh yeah,
movie,
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
that.
yeah,
So we did a lot. So yeah, it's a. I mean, unfortunately we can make it, but it's all still good to. At least we did some pre pre production. Sorry. So it's a fun process.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll say a little bit about what we have going on later on this episode. But
Yes.
thank you so much for being here again and letting us know a little bit about you. On today's episode, we are going to discuss fantasy films.
Mm-hmm.
So my pick is actually Lord of the Rings,
Okay.
and
Oh, classic.
yeah, Serenity. What was your pick? Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch,
More like
and
lame
then
punch.
Nate is gonna do Luca.
Yeah. That's why I have
Oh,
Jen,
Italy.
yeah, I love Luca, and Jen's gonna do Mrs. Peregrine's, right?
yes.
The Peculiar Okay, I loved that movie, and it made me actually
Yeah.
go read the book afterwards, and I loved the book.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That
Um,
one is that. Oh, go on. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. I mean, we'll get into the movies, of course. Before that, we just kind of wanted to take a little bit of time because I know we have a limited amount of time here on the podcast, but we just want to take the time to use our platform, like we always do, to bring some matters to light and to answer some questions and things like that. And we actually just wanted to answer or go around, I guess, some main concerns of that people have in regards to getting the vaccine, vaccinated against the virus. And so we're just gonna list, and we're gonna not take too long. Like, we're not gonna go into explanation because, of course, we're not the experts here. We're not claiming to be experts on this. We will have links in the description of the video with the experts, the sources that we got this information from. because again, that's not us. We're leaving this all to the experts, and you can just look through the sources below.
And whenever we say vaccine, we're specifically referring to the Pfizer only, not any of the other ones. We're simply talking about the Pfizer and Pfizer only. So,
and that's only because we have personal experience with Pfizer and a lot of other people that we knew that got Pfizer. So that's kind of why we say we recommend Pfizer.
Serenity, why are you such a teenager, Serenity?
For the people who are curious about what's in it, nobody really knows except it's antibodies for sure. Antibodies are what's in the vaccine.
No, it's not. Nobody ever really knows.
I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that, but like,
not a lot of people know.
They're not hiding the ingredients.
The U.S. Virgin Islands is part of the U.S.
Ingredients. I mean, there's a link that you'll see below that'll list the ingredients, but in general, they're antibodies.
Yeah. That's how I meant to say.
Not FDA approved. That's another concern that people have. A lot of people say, well, it's not FDA approved. But
Pretty sure it is.
Nate, I think you've read some about into that. Can you give us your explanation on that?
On what?
On them saying that it's not FDA approved?
I wasn't prepared for this. What? I'm pretty sure it is.
You just said it is.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it is.
It is. It's actually approved. It was emergency approved by the FDA. But I also want to make a point to say that there are a lot of non-FDA approved stuff in your household right now that you really don't even know about. I can list a couple, like
Serenity.
Work stuff, Herbalife. If you use Herbalife, that's not FDA approved. Some shampoos you probably use are not FDA approved. Like, there's so many things. So I would very much, advise you to go look into that because it is actually FDA approved.
And then another concern that I see a lot of people talking about is they're like really scared of what's going to happen in the future due to the vaccine. I can't tell you like what's going to happen in like 5 years from now because of course, I don't know, but from personal experience, I've got both doses and from what I've seen, like I've been fine. I haven't had any symptoms. Neither of the doses affected me in any type of negative way. So
other than like muscle soreness, I think.
But
that's
any shot, you get soreness.
Yeah,
from, so.
I think So, because that's mainly what I heard. Because I talked to a lot of people before I went to go get my vaccine. I talked to people who had the J&J. I talked to people who had Moderna, and I talked to people who had Pfizer. And the one that reported like the least amount of symptoms and like they didn't get sick at all was Pfizer. So that's what I decided to go with. But what was that?
You said the last one?
Also, I think they've said something about nanotech, some new kind of nanotech being injected into you where they can track you or something like that. I'm gonna have you refer back to the ingredient sheet of what's in the vaccine.
Wait till they hear about cell phones.
Right. We're not gonna say that, Nate. They ain't ready for that conversation.
Okay.
And then the most common one that I hear a lot of people say is that I can still get COVID, so why do I need it? And I will just plainly tell you so that you don't die. Because yes, you can still get it, but the antibodies that are in the vaccine work as a layer of protection so that you can avoid feeling very ill or even like leading up to hospitalization. And there's studies already that have shown that the people who have been vaccinated have not ended up in the hospital versus the people who are unvaccinated. Those are the main ones that are taking up all the ICU beds right now. So it is a great concern. Like I said, you can visit the sources below so you can get, the experts behind all of this and more detail, of course, because we just have this time. But it is very serious. I've lost way too many people. Like, I've gone to too many funerals already, and I just don't want to do it anymore, guys. So just please be informed and let's do this together. We have to do this together. We all have to be vaccinated for it to stop mutating and stop getting, out of control. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. So now the fun stuff, right? Jen, we always want to allow our guests to go first. So please be our guest and you can go ahead and talk about your movie, your pick.
So my pick, as you said, like Miss Peregrine, and I think I choose that one because I have a very specific memory about it. Like I watch it not in the theater, not in any Steam. It's actually on an airplane. Very
Oh.
funny story. It's on an airplane, so it's actually I forget where I traveled to, but it's kind of like a pretty long travel. So I watched the film. I choose on the airplane, and I was like, oh, looks a funny one. Okay. At that time, I don't know the storyline. I don't know the genre. I just saw the picture of the poster, in on the airline. This is on that small screen. So I was like, okay, I'll choose this one. Okay, let's go. So I started watching it, and I was like, oh my god, that's a very interesting story. Because at first when the main character introduced the film and when they open into that kind of like a time loop, so it's kind of, oh my god, it's a very new story. So I have a very specific memory about it. And after the airplane travel, and I just when I come back home, maybe after a month later, and I rewatch it, I was like, it's still, it's still just interesting me. Like I'm so into it. Sometimes I'm not very into the movies, or sometimes I like fast my movie. Like maybe I would jump to the next part because I know exactly what's gonna happen in this part. So the first time I saw, I would jump to, and maybe second time I would jump to another part. But it's my way to watch movies or drama. Like I like jump to the next part and next part and next part. Sometimes maybe to judge me, but that's my way. So, but this movie, so I just re-watch it, and I still freaking love it. Character, each character has their different, and especially for the main character and also like even the bad guys, you feel like, oh, it's funny, it's not like, oh, I hate him. No, I hate him. I hate this guy, and you lost some interest, but everybody is like intrigued, like gonna catch you to keep watching this. So that's why I have. And also I remember after that in this year also have saw another time loop movie. It's called Palm Springs. I'm not sure if you guys.
I love that movie.
And so when I watched that one, I was like, oh, it's a time loop again. Like everybody tracking the same time over and over and over again. So it's like, oh my god, and also like when I after saw on Wikipedia this movie and Tim Burton, I was like, oh my god, this guy is a genius. He created so many good movies.
Oh my god, yes, I love Tim Burton. But
He's
have you seen Groundhog Day? That's like one of the main time loop movies that a lot of people reference.
Yeah, and time loop or something like never happened in the reality life. It's always like kind of like catch my mind, because this is something like I think the movie is like you can experience something like you can never experience in your real life. So that's why I love sci-fi, like Star Trek, Star Wars. Like we're never maybe in the future, long future, maybe in my life, but in movies I can experience it.
I felt that's why we love fantasy movies. That's the main reason that I think a lot of us love fantasy movies, because we can just go to an entirely different place.
True, like the actor creates a totally different background from your life, and it's so like a magic world. Like you can just go into it and be one of them.
It took me a lot not to pick Harry Potter, because Harry Potter is like one of my ultimate favorite. But we did like a whole segment on Harry Potter. We talked for like almost 2 hours, right, Nate?
Yeah, that's when we had Becca on the podcast.
Yeah, it was with Becca. So we just went on and on. So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that today because then I'm never gonna finish. So.
Oh yeah.
But, I love fantasy.
So yes, like a magic world, or like just like a fantasy world. Like you're just into it and be one of them. Maybe that's wonderful. Like that's amazing. Sometimes it's just help you to stay away from your your real life sometimes and just
Right. You can just escape.
enjoy your time. And at that point, like 2 hours movie, and you just fully into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love those movies. Those movies that definitely like hold your attention the entire time, have you on the edge of your seat, have you feeling so many things. Like, absolutely. Where can you currently stream this movie?
I need to check. I'm not sure. Let me check first. You can go check on your movie first.
I think I'm gonna go check on my movie too.
Yeah, I'm gonna check on mine too.
Let's see.
I think Netflix maybe has them.
I think it did have it for a while. I don't know if they still have it now. Let me see.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Netflix too, and if not for sure, I know I saw it on Hulu.
Have them.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, it's on Disney Plus.
Okay, so you can go watch Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children on Disney Plus. And did you say when? I don't know. This was fairly new, but I don't remember. It was based off of a book.
Yeah, it is based off a book. Yeah.
Right.
It's the base of the novel. I believe it's the same name.
Right.
Is it just one book or are there several?
I believe there's a series.
It's a series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a debut novel.
It's written by Jane Goldman, and it's the same name, and
I thought Jane Goldman wrote the script. I'm pretty sure the novel was written by a guy named Ransom Riggs.
Oh, let me check. Oh, you're right. He's right.
When was it written?
It was written in 2011.
It's
okay. I figured it was something fairly new.
Wait, what is it? 2011?
When they wrote the book, the Mrs.
Oh.
Peregrine. Did it say how many books are in the series?
It's only 2.
I think it's like a duology.
It's like 2, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Oh man, I need to read the other one then.
Yep, there is a graphic novel though, also.
Yes, it's a.
Oh, cool.
So you can check that out. It's also called the same thing, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, the graphic novel. Yeah, it was, there's a sequel called Hollow City. Hollow City, and another one called Library of Souls.
Okay.
And then there was another one called The Map of Days, which is supposed to be a sequel trilogy. That came out a couple years, like in 2018. And then there was The Conference of Birds, and then another one that came out February of this year, called The Disillusions of Devil's Acre.
So I'm so behind.
Yeah, he's still writing. He's going.
So he made 2 trilogies off of this. The first one is this one, and then a couple more. So it's looking pretty good. If you want to check out those novels, check them out. I'm sure they're really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna check them out. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say about it, Jen?
No, I just want everybody to watch it. It's so good.
All right.
Enjoy the movie.
Okay.
Enjoy it. Yeah, I watched it. I liked it.
Yeah, me too.
I really enjoy it. Like I said, read the book because it's so good.
All right.
Nate, do you want to go ahead and go next?
I will go next. Yes. So we're gonna go into our time machines. Are you guys ready?
Not
Ruby,
Luca.
Are you ready?
Time machine. I just watched Doctor Who.
You ready?
You know.
Ruby, are you ready? Serenity, are you ready?
I'm ready. Just go into the TARDIS.
Yes. We're gonna go back in time to 1959, the Italian Riviera. Okay.
Somewhere in northern Italy.
Yeah. Which we're going to talk about the 2021 film by, what's his name? Enrico Casarosa, which is Luca, which is a coming-of-age fantasy film made by Pixar and Disney. And it is a really interesting film. It is starring Jacob Tremblay, some loser named Jack Dylan Grazer. I don't know, who cares. Emma Berman. No, I'm kidding. I don't think he's a loser. Emma Berman.
There would be people that would agree with you right now.
Huh? What?
Nothing. Keep going.
Savario Raimondo, who is an Italian stand-up comic. He plays the character of he plays the character of Visconti, who is like the bully character with his Vespa. And who else? It's also starring Maya Rudolph and Jim Gaffigan. So we're gonna go into the plot. So a timid young sea monster, right, herds goatfish off the coast of the Italian town of Porto Rosso, which is not a real place; it's a fictional town. And his parents, Daniela and Lorenzo, who's played by Maya Rudolph and Jim Gaffigan, respectively, fearing that humans might haunt him, forbade him to approach the surface. But Luca wants to be where the people are. He wants to walk. He has his own.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, he wants to be where the people are. He wants to see them walking, see them dancing. I don't remember the song. And then he's like, he has his own.
How does it go? Walking around on those. What's those things again?
Oh yeah.
Feet or something. Up where they.
He wants to be up where they run, where they walk. Yeah, and then he has his own little collection of stuff, and he's all like, "Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Don't you say my collection's complete?" What? What do you mean, ew? What are you ewing for?
My mom, no lie, like my mom told me that I used to watch The Little Mermaid on repeat, like for days, over and over and over again.
Oh.
Really? Would you say that The Little Mermaid is a problematic movie?
Yeah, she ate her own. Her dad was problematic because they would literally eat their own kind, and then he would get mad. Bro, they were. When would they eat their own sea life, bro? They ate each other. What do you think they ate? They ate fish.
I don't know.
They ate fish.
I guess I've never thought about that.
They literally ate the fish.
He was like, "Hey, Sebastian."
I'm thinking of more of the sociological implications of it.
Well, we don't have time to talk about that. We'll go into that segment.
Okay. Anyway, Luca. So one day Luca meets a real cool dude by the name of Scarfano. And he's like super cool. He goes to the surface all the time. And he's played by some guy named Jack Smilance-Mazer. So so Jack, 3 names. So so he lives alone above the surface, and he claims that his father is simply not around much, but really it is later believed that he was just abandoned there, and who cares? We never see him. So Alberto encourages Luca to venture out into the ocean, showing him what sea monsters can turn into humans when dry, but return to their true forms when wet. So that's so real cool. So Luca follows Alberto to his hideout in Isola del Mare, where the boys connect while making a makeshift fragile Vespa. Oh yeah, and that's basically going to be the MacGuffin of this entire film, is the Vespa.
The Vespa, yeah.
The bare bones plot of this film is these two sea monsters want a Vespa. Now, what the Vespa represents is up to interpretation. It could represent freedom or independence, like stuff like that. What do you guys think it means?
I thought it meant like freedom. I thought they meant like, like they actually wanted to. They had this goal in mind because freedom was what was driving behind it, because they didn't want to be, held underwater anymore. They wanted to be able to be free out in the open world.
The ocean's really big, though.
I know, right?
So,
don't tell me that. Tell them.
Okay. So, upon discovering their son's actions, Luca's very overprotective parents plan to send Luca to live in the deep sea with his uncle Ugo, who looks nothing like them. So I guess, I don't know how they're related, because they're different species.
You are, right?
Yeah, and also Ugo seems to have the lantern thing.
Yeah.
Which I think only females have. So
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know that only the females have
I'm
that.
pretty sure only females have that. Do you know how those types of fish reproduce?
No, but I'm pretty sure it's not anything nice.
I'll tell you what they do. How they reproduce is the male basically goes up to the female and they basically merge into them.
What?
Yeah, the males merge into the female, like they just clump onto them and they just like sink into their bodies and they become part of them.
Ew.
That's not right. That's not true, is it?
No, it is true. That is 100% true.
That's some alien-like shit right there, bro. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. But that's how they do it. So,
I'm gonna have to look into that.
yeah. In retaliation, Luca and Alberto run away to Porto Rosso to find a real Vespa and travel the world and stuff. So that's their motivation. They want to get a Vespa and do stuff. But shock, horror! The boys run into a foul of the infamous Ercole Visconti, who is played by, what's his name? Silverio Raimondo. So, the local bully who was a 5-time champion of the Porto Rosso Cup. OMG, 1, 2, 3. Which is a local children's triathlon. So, Ercole tries to dunk Luca into a fountain, but Julia, Marcovaldo, who is a young girl, helps the boys escape. Hooray! She saves the day. Girl power, am I right, ladies?
Yeah, I also just love that dynamic of it being the two guys and the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's other movies that I've seen like that, and I just enjoy watching that. Like on Monster House, where's the two boys and the girl?
Oh, yeah.
No! Yes.
So, what else happened? So, in hopes of winning the money needed for a Vespa, the boys and Julia form the team for the triathlon, which involves swimming, biking, and eating of the pasta. Which is, I don't know, but because they're Italian, I guess.
Yes.
So if
Always pasta.
I hope they eat the pasta last because imagine swimming on a.
You're gonna cramp up and drown.
Pasta. Hell yeah.
You'd be like, ugh.
Yeah. No, you have to eat a bunch of pasta and then go biking because it's like the second thing you do.
Oh my god, that'd still be kind of hard.
Yeah, you'd be.
That literally be. Ugh.
You'd be throwing up all over the place. So unable to swim without revealing themselves, Luca and Alberto take on biking and pasta eating portions of the race, respectively, while Julia takes the swimming part. So upon learning this, Ercole vows to beat them and continue his winning streak. Oh no, now we have an antagonist.
It's literally like this grown-ass man and this little girl. Like, he's challenging and bickering with the little girl.
I don't think he's supposed to be a grown adult. I think he's supposed to be like 16.
What he looks like.
I think he's supposed to be 16, but he has a mustache.
Yeah, he don't look 16.
I think it's supposed to be a commentary about how Italian people seem to have like thicker facial hair than other people. But,
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. What? So, while the boys trained for the race and befriended Julia's fisherman father, Massimo, who was born with only one arm. Ooh, we got some representation here. So that's good. So, Luca's parents head to the surface to find their son. Julia teaches Luca about school. Whoa. School is lame, right, guys?
Yes, very much so.
No.
Jane,
School kids.
Jane, do you think school's lame?
Mm-hmm. No.
Why not?
No.
No.
Just...
Education is very important.
Okay. So so the two bond over the love of learning, especially about astronomy, not astrology, because that is lame.
No, it's not.
That's a load of BS.
You're lame. You're
Calling people lame is lame.
That's what a lame person would say. I'm always one step ahead. So Alberto becomes jealous of Luca and Julia's growing friendship because he's all like, I want Luca's time all for myself. So are we thinking of a love triangle here?
No.
No,
because
this is a
they're
Pixar
like,
movie.
What?
like a bromance, I feel like, because this is the first time that what's his name, Stefano, or Jack Dylan Glazer's Alberto. Sorry, this is the first time like he has somebody actually there like with him, and he's like not feeling alone anymore. And so he's kind of feeling threatened by this girl because he feels like he's she's gonna take more of his time, and he had already grown used to having him there.
Yeah.
So, and he fears abandonment. He has abandonment issues because of his parents.
Yeah. Well, his dad.
His dad.
Yeah.
Sorry. What happened to his mom?
But no one cares. Who cares? We need
Mom.
This is a Pixar movie. This is a Pixar movie. One of the characters needs to have been raised by a single parent. And since Luca already has both of his parents and a grandmother, the other one needs to have a single parent. And then he abandoned him. So when Luca starts ignoring Alberto's advice and tries changing their plans to going to school instead of traveling the world, he and Alberto fight. And in anger, Alberto intentionally reveals his true form to Julia. What a lame-o thing. So Luca feigns surprise at the transformation, and a heartbroken Alberta is driven off by Ercole. So Julia later sloshes a cup full of water onto a panicking Luca, seeing his true identity, and she sends him away for his own safety. So it looks like that stinks for him. I guess it blew up in his face. So what do you think about that? What do you think about this Shakespearean betrayal?
No, I think it was just really him having to face his reality. That's what they were doing.
Yeah, you have to be yourself.
Right.
That's the true moral of Luca, is to just be yourself, and everyone will just automatically accept you.
And those who care for you will accept you.
Yeah.
Those who don't accept you don't matter.
Yeah. Even if you're like a terrifying sea monster.
Yeah, that. He's not terrifying, though.
He's a scary.
I don't think they're terrifying.
So Luca attempts to reconcile with Alberto and discovers that Alberto's father abruptly abandoned him long ago, like any loving father would. So making Alberto think he was a bad kid who should not have friends.
That's sad.
Would you agree, Serenity? Do you think he should not have friends?
No, of course not.
He should have friends.
Okay.
He just doesn't know how to keep friendships right now because, like I said, he has a bad.
Because nobody teach him. Like he was abandoned from his young age, and he's free to touch somebody.
Right. So Luca sets out to win the Vespa on his own to make things right. So after several mishaps, Luca takes the lead in the bicycle race, but is forced to take shelter when it starts to rain. Alberto saves him with an umbrella, but Ercole knocks it away, and both boys are revealed as sea monsters. Oh no! They flee Ercole, who now intends to harpoon them and collect the bounty money. So Julia helps by smashing their bike into Ercole, injuring himself in the process. So Luca and Alberto turn back to help her, finally standing up to Ercole. They are defended from Ercole and the other fishermen by Massimo, who reveals that the boys are his friends.
The dad, right?
Yeah. Could probably get friends your own age. Am I right, Ruby?
Happy ending.
I haven't watched Luca.
Oh my god.
So he also points out that they have crossed the finish line and won the race. Hooray! So other disguised sea monsters reveal themselves, including Luca's family, and the townsfolk happily welcome them, like in a very Disney-fied way.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that, Ruby? Do you think that's like a very Disney-fied way of wrapping up the story?
It's a Disney film, and it always Disney film. Like when you watch it, when you like the whole story, it's like a typical Disney film.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think that's not a bad thing. Like they always keep it in mind. That's good.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think?
I very much enjoyed it. For it being like a Pixar film, I think that that's pretty much how they would go either way.
Mm-hmm. But when Urkele refuses to accept the changes, his own henchmen, Sissio and Guido, throw him into the fountain, fed up with his abuse. Hooray! That's what happens when you do that. So
that's the bully getting a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah. So Luca and Alberto purchase a Vespa, but Alberto sells it to buy a train ticket for Luca, allowing him to go to school in Giona with Giulia. Luca's family, Massimo and Alberto, see Luca and Giulia off at the train station where they all promise to stay in touch, but we all know that they're not going to. During the credits, Luca meets Giulia's mother and attends.
Jeez, way to be pessimistic.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the case. Am I right, Ruby? You're always like, we should stay in touch, and you never text each other again.
And then do they die?
Yeah, they get eaten. No. So Luca meets Giulia's mother and attends school, showing off his sea monster appearance and later watching humans walk on the moon, which is the Apollo 11 thing. Because remember, this takes place in 1959. So with Giulia on television, so Massimo becomes Alberto's adoptive father, and Alberto and Luca's family enjoy interacting with the humans in Porto Rosso. There's also a post-credit scene where Ugo talks to a stray goldfish about how great his life is in the depths of the ocean. So that's great. So it looks like Alberto is more of a workforce guy than a school guy.
Yeah, but at least he is going to be able to see him since he got adopted by Luca's dad.
Mm-hmm.
So at least he'll always be there. And he solved his abandonment issues once he figured out, hey, I don't have to be with you 24/7. You can go to school and do the things that you want to do and live your dreams,
Mm-hmm. Yep, so that's the story of Luca.
Bestie vibes only.
Okay. So yeah, that's the...
And you forgot to mention the main thing that they say on the movie.
What do they say?
You know what they say.
This has been a Disney production.
It's Silencio, Bruno.
That's a stupid phrase. No, I don't know.
The heck is your movie? Where can you watch Luca?
On Disney Plus. It was released. It was released as a Disney Plus exclusive because of the COVID-19 thing. And Pixar was not happy about it.
I bet.
No.
Pixar is never happy when they don't get their money.
Yeah,
Yes.
like Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
She was like, "Yeah, I wasn't paid $10 million. I was instead paid $9 million." No, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know who's in the wrong there.
Scarlett.
I don't know who's in the wrong there. What do you guys think?
I don't know because I don't know what they agreed with.
Because I don't know the contract saying if they said they have to be in the theater or only in the theater, then Disney is definitely the wrong side. But if the contract said maybe they were on the streaming platform, and it
maybe
depends on what they are grading.
Yeah, I don't know enough to comment on it. Yeah.
That's what a coward would say, Ruby.
Okay.
No, I mean.
So are you done, Nate? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's my thing. You can see it on Disney Plus. I think it's a really good film. Check it out on Disney Plus whenever you get
really
a chance.
Good family film.
Mm-hmm.
Feel good film.
Mm-hmm.
The kids really liked it. Serenity, do you want to do yours next? Yeah. Okay. So Sucker Punch.
I'm doing Sucker Punch. Has everyone seen Sucker Punch?
I have not seen Sucker Punch because I was told it was a bad movie.
You've never seen Sucker Punch, bro? It's not a bad movie. What the heck? Who told you that?
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe people who don't get it.
Yeah,
it's
maybe
a bad
people
movie.
that don't get that it's a whole metaphorical film.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, he hasn't seen it,
So wait 1 second.
For those of you who haven't seen Sucker Punch, it's about like my mom said, it's a it's a metaphorical movie. It's about this girl who loses her mom at a young age, and she's left with her. Came out in 2011. Oh yeah, it was released in.
He says 22% Rotten Tomatoes.
I saw that one.
30%.
Come on.
We don't trust Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, we don't?
No.
No, I mean I do, but I always go still, even if they get a bad review, like I always have to see it myself. I always have to give like my own review of the film, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
you have people out here that like Mother, you know. Like,
That's an amazing movie.
I did not like that
That's
movie.
an amazing
And
movie.
That movie was the worst.
I think Mother got nominated for like a bunch of Razzie awards.
Exactly.
What is that?
Like the joke awards.
It's
What?
like
That
it's
movie was great.
it's supposed to be like anti-Oscars, like the worst
Yeah.
picture, worst actor, worst this.
What?
Anyways, go on and talk about
Yeah, but anyway,
Sucker
so
Punch.
after this girl loses her mom or whatever, she's left.
Oh,
with
after
her...
she loses her mom or whatever. So it was made by Zack Snyder, by the way. It was supposed to be
she's
Zack.
left. She's left with like her abusive stepdad, and he like sends her to this. It's like a psych ward, I guess, like an institution. And so they send her there, and you know, while she's there, she uses her imagination to cope with her being there because you know of how traumatic it is and stuff there. And so you know, she does that, and
Talk about the scenes. Like, what scenes does she use to cope?
Shush. And then also, like in the movie, whenever she's using her imagination to cope, while she's doing that, she's also trying to find a way to get out of the psych ward or institution or whatever. So, you know, even though it's like showing everything that's going on in her imagination, some of it is actually still happening in real life, which kind of sucks now that I think about it because in the movie, they don't show what's actually going on in real life. They just like show what's she's imagining in her head. But it's pretty cool because the scenes that they do show like of her imagination, they're really cool scenes. Like they're like literally fighting scenes. They're like scenes of her at war, like you know,
Like action packed.
Yeah.
Action packed scenes. And
Yeah.
the costumes, you know.
Oh, and the actresses that are in there, Vanessa Hudgens is in there. Who else is in the cast?
I like Jamie
Oh,
Chung.
that's
Jamie
good.
Chung is. I love Jamie Chung.
Jamie Chung is in there. The main
Emily
character.
Browning is the main character. She's Baby Doll. Emily Browning.
Right. You know her before because you've seen her before on the movie A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Right.
With Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah, she's
She
the
was
sister.
the sister, the big sister.
I just now realized that.
Yeah, and let me see. Abby Cornish is also in it. She was in
Yeah.
Somersault, Bright Star. She was also in Limitless as well. Jenna Malone is also in it. So yeah.
Yeah, I recommend it. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a good movie if you understand it. And
Yeah, and there's
Cool.
pretty much
what's
like
going on.
a twist at the end as well, like what you're not expecting
Well, okay.
at the end to happen.
Yeah, okay, Ebert.
It was on Netflix for a while. I think they like just took it off like a month ago or so ago.
Because it's like so
now
bad.
you can only stream it on YouTube and you have to buy it for like $3.99. You can get it on YouTube or on Vudu. So
Let me double check on where we could stream Sucker Punch. Yeah, it was made by Zack Snyder, and I believe it was supposed to be his first film that wasn't adapted from anything. Like this was the first original concept that he ever like came up with. Yeah, it's
I
not
also
available
feel like
now.
they just wanted to cater to men who would love to see girls dressed up, you know, fighting in nice little skirts.
I think Snyder wants to like implement his own thing into there. So yeah, so I do want to talk about Sucker Punch a little bit more. So I know that so Baby Doll does slip into a fantasy world, in which she's newly arrived in a brothel owned by a guy named Blue Jonas, who I believe is played
Right,
by
like basically all the people who work at the facility that she's at the mental hospital.
Huh?
They're key characters inside her metaphorical scenes that she's having inside her head. So they all play roles there. But
right.
they're all different people, of course, in real life. And really, she's not crazy. Like, that's the main focus of this thing as well. That's what she's trying to get out, because she's actually not crazy. There was just an incident that happened with her stepfather where he made her look like a criminal, like if she was trying to kill him for no reason or something like that. And he had all the power since her mom had recently died. He had a power of attorney over them to do whatever he wanted, and that's why he locked her up.
Yeah. So yeah, it was mainly Blue Jonas, who is played by Oscar Isaac, whom she envisions as a mobster, where she and the other patients were like sex slaves, which I guess is how she views herself in this mental institution. And also in this realm, she befriends 4 other patients / dancers who are Amber, Blondie, Rocket, and Rocket's sister, and star of the show, Sweet Pea, which is Abby Cornish, Jenna Malone, Vanessa Hudgens, and Jamie Chung's characters. So a guy named Dr. Gorski, who is played by Carlo Gugino, who you might remember her in Troop Beverly Hills and This Boy's Life. So, yeah. So who is envisioned as the girls' dance instructor. So Blue
and her. Yeah. I forgot her name, but she's pretty big too. She's pretty well known.
Carla Gugino, yeah.
Yeah.
So Blue informs Baby Doll that her virginity will be sold to a client known as the High Roller, who I believe is played by John Hamm. Yeah, so the High Roller, who's played by John Hamm, who is actually the doctor scheduled to perform her lobotomy. So I guess she views like the lobotomy as like a super invasive process, as the same as taking your own virginity, like something super intimate and very invasive, and should only be done in like, oh no,
why?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyways, I think you should watch Sucker Punch just like because of the scenes. Like the scenes are actually like really good.
And the soundtrack.
They have good music. They have great costume, and they have good fighting,
aesthetic of it in general.
Fighting scenes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Sucker Punch. What's yours?
And so I am going to talk about The Lord of the Rings, and I really I had so many fantasy movies that I could talk about. I mean, I wanted to do Star Wars, like I said, Harry Potter, Black Panther, like there's so many, but I chose to do Lord of the Rings because I feel like it's not talked about enough, honestly, for like how great and grand it is. And I think it's partially because not a lot of people have seen it, like, and nowadays, like Gen Z, like she hasn't seen it. She's never seen it.
Ooh.
And, yeah, I feel like a lot of people haven't. So this is amazing trilogy. It was obviously it's a series of books that it was adapted from. So it's a trilogy based on a novel written by J.R.R. Tolkien. And yeah, and I want to give credit because like I always feel like I'm so fascinated by people's imaginations when they can create like whole other worlds, and whole other kinds of people and whole other kinds of things going on, like that is very powerful to me, for you to be as creative as that. And that's one of the reasons why it drew me in to begin with, because it was this whole other place. These books take place in this like area called Middle Earth. That's what they call it, and which is basically like Earth, like our planet, right? But it kind of feels like it would be set in like times back then where people, don't have much technology, don't have much of, computers or anything like that we have now. So it kind of feels like it'd be set back then in much simpler times. But it involves like magic and wizards and monsters like goblins and so many things, right? Just different all over the place. In this world, there's elves and all these kinds of things. So it began in 2001 with the first film that was called The Fellowship of the Ring. And it debuted one year after another. Like each film was 2001 and then 2002 with The Two Towers and then 2003 with The Return of the King.
Yeah.
The cast is freaking stellar. Obviously, like you have Orlando Bloom in his breakthrough role as Legolas, you know, the main elf guy who could like shoot freaking arrows like nothing, you know, like he was skilled, how do I say, a master at the bow and arrow.
Right. And then we also got Viggo Mortensen.
I'm sorry?
We still got Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn.
Yeah, Viggo Mortensen,
Elijah
Liv
Wood.
Tyler,
Yeah.
Ian McKellen, Elijah Wood, Sean Astin, Kate Blanchett, Sir Christopher Frank Carradine. I don't know how I say his name. Sir Christopher Lee.
Sir Christopher Lee.
Yes. And then we have the brothers that are played by, you know, Merry and Pippin, that are played by Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan. And also Hugo Weaving is in there. Andrew Serkis, who plays Gollum. He did an amazing job playing Gollum. And then Sean Bean, who's part of the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically I wanted to just talk about it because I really love, like I said, how creative it is, you know, to be able to look inside of what a mind, you know, that creative can do and just like make magnificent things, you know, come to life.
Mm-hmm.
The costume, the set design, like the cast, like it all fits so perfect. Like these people that were cast in these films, like just looked like they belonged there, right? Like it just went together so well. The story.
Lord of the Rings. What happened? What's going on?
Is it recording?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so I was just saying, basically, this story revolves a group of people who are going against this dark evil force that exists, that is trying to take over Middle Earth, of course, their home and stuff like that. And if that happens, you know, it's going to be mass destruction and chaos, and everybody's going to get killed off or whatever. So they have like the task of destroying this ring that will end or kill that dark force. And the 3 books, like, it's basically the journey from beginning to end. But a lot happens along the way, and you get to meet new characters along the way, find out new things, how things happen. You know, I was really, really interested in the origin story of Gollum. So I was just like really, really happy when they showed us like how all of that went down.
I believe they're making a video game about Gollum, just called Gollum.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're making the freaking TV show now of Lord of the Rings. Did you hear?
Yeah.
Their budget was like $495 billion or something.
$495 billion? Oh my goodness. That is massive.
Like an insane amount. Maybe no, 495 million.
Okay, 95 million.
Yeah,
I was thinking. I'll be like,
like
105 billion. That's like all of Hollywood. Is all of Hollywood pushing in?
When we can do billions.
Yeah.
Smeagol comes out.
But yeah, but like.
She said, "Wait, is that where Smeagol comes out?"
Okay. So like, yeah. So Lord of the Rings is like a spectacle in the film industry, something that we will probably never see again.
Which is why, people need to see this, right? Like, it's so amazing. Yeah. It's one of a kind.
Yeah, and Peter Jackson took a huge gamble, like this new experimental way of filming, where he decided to just film all 3 of the film, all the books.
Kudos to Peter Jackson, because he did direct all 3.
I think there's a documentary about the behind the scenes.
I'm sure there is. Yeah.
And I think that's really worth to watch. Like, I remember the one thing that I remember clearly is about the ring. Like, because you see the ring is a small one, but in the reality they make the huge ring to shoot for the Easter shot to make it look precisely. So
cool. So where is that? Where can you watch that?
Oh, I forget. Some point I watched this because I remember clearly, like, they made a huge ring to shoot that movie.
Oh, they have it on Prime.
What do they have it on Prime?
The behind the scenes.
The Yeah.
And there's some on YouTube too, it looks like. But you can stream all 3 of Lord of the Rings on Amazon Prime and Google TV
for the low price of $15.99.
No.
Yeah, so like the new
Probably, I don't know.
The Lord of the Rings show is supposed to be on Prime, so I would So let me
I'm
see.
excited to see that. And then also you have the Hobbit movies that stemmed off of the original Lord of the Rings movies.
Honestly, I don't.
That is like
people will hit me, but I really don't think Hobbit is that much great. You know, it's just after watch the Lord of the Ring, and then you go to the Hobbits, you feel like you lose something. It's not like it's so intense and so magic, powerful. Like,
I think I only enjoyed it because of the nostalgia. You know, like I wanted to see Lord of the Rings again.
Yes.
That was the only reason why I watched it.
People love it because the Lord of the Rings, but if you just watch that, the Hobbit, the movie itself, it feels like maybe just you miss something, like not that intense and like magic and powerful, like not that magnificent movie, like rematched, you know.
Yeah, because you're so used to what happens in the first movies.
Yes,
it's so intense. And what do you think, Nate? You think that the Hobbit movies are worth it or no?
The Hobbit was definitely like a shell of what the Lord of the Rings was. If you would have to, I would suggest to watch the Disillusion of Smog, which is, I would say, is the best out of the 3, which is the second film. Because that one was actually pretty fun, mainly because Benedict Cumberbatch's Smog was really interesting to watch. So I would say that. But Lord of the Rings, I know that it was like the first fantasy film to ever win. Well, I don't want to know about that, but it is one of the very first films to ever win, like sweep the Oscars. Every single award it was ever nominated, it won, and it was the first time that happened since One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, back like years earlier, and so that is like an acclaim of how big this thing was.
Such a masterpiece. Like it is really a masterpiece, and I didn't even read the books. Like the movies are 3 hours long at that, and so I can just imagine how big these books are.
The movies are 3.5 hours long each.
3.5 hours long, But it's one of those movies, like you said, Jen, that you don't even realize that you've been sitting there that whole time because you're literally
like the story is just catching you. Like you cannot miss a detail. Like you make that lost sometimes.
I also hold these movies really dear to my heart because this was like a period of time where my mom was in between like her being newly divorced and us having to like co-parent, you know, her and my dad. And so we had these movies where we would always plan to go watch them together. And it'd be me, myself, and my brother. And we'd always go watch them every time they came out. We watched the first one when they come out, the second one, and the third. And it was kind of like our own little time that we spent together with our mom. And yeah, we didn't even care that it was 3 hours long. Like we just really enjoyed it. So I think everybody else should go watch that.
I think it is an amazing film. The CGI special effects are amazing. You wouldn't even tell that
oh my god, I cried on the third movie. I was falling at the end. I was like, oh my god.
Like all the
I cried a lot on these movies.
So these are like special effects that came out in 2001, 2002, and 2003.
Yeah, I think it's too earliest to like the CGI going to have a very few. Like I mean, of course, Star Wars is earlier, but the Lord of the Rings is kind of like a door of the fantasy movie. Like people really get into. After that, the Harry Potter or the others, like they keep the series like. But always like the Lord of the Rings is everybody's like. It's kind of like a door. Like after this movie comes out, this door is open, and the audience like go into this genre, and people like, oh, I love this movie, I love this setting, I love this whole story, and I want to watch more. So a lot of movies comes out in this genre. Like it's just like I don't know. It's just kind like a door, like a new world to the
Yeah, it has to be like
industry.
A groundbreaking in CGI or something.
Yeah, true.
Like it has to be. But yeah, so that's why I decided to talk about that movie. Like I said, there were so many others that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
I think Mortal Kombat and like Constantine and Suicide Squad, like those are all good movies. So
Yeah.
definitely go watch those.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to our next segment, which is recommendations. Hooray!
Yes.
So
if anybody has any recommendations, entertainment recommendations,
yeah, it could be. Yeah, it can be a play, it could be a film, it could be a show, it could be a book, and it could be like an album or video game or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would recommend today, I just recently watched the 1964 black comedy film Dr. Strangelove, which is it's a black and white film. It was
That is so old.
Yeah, it came out in 1964. It was made by Stanley Kubrick, who was like the genius filmmaker Stanley Kubrick. And it is a film that satirizes the Cold War fears of nuclear conflict between the Soviet Union and the United States. So, the film was directed, produced, and co-written by the great Stanley Kubrick, and it stars Peter Sellers, George C. Scott, Sterling Hayden, and Slim Pickens as Major King Kong. So the film was made in the United Kingdom and is loosely based on the Peter George thriller novel Red Alert, which came out in 1958. So the story concerns an unhinged United States Air Force general who orders the first nuclear strike on the Soviet Union. So it separately follows the President of the United States, his advisors, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Royal Air Force exchange officer as they attempt to prevent the crew of the B-52 plane, who were following orders from the general, from bombing the Soviets and starting a nuclear war. So, so it is like, it's actually really funny. It's a huge like satirization about like how dumb these people can be in like intense situations and all that kind of stuff.
How the Russians that they're focusing on, or who?
It's mostly the Americans.
Okay.
It's the Americans, and about how blind Americans can be, like when in terms of like their own prejudices as opposed to what really needs to be done. Like they have the Russian ambassador there with them who is a Soviet, and the general, one of the Joint Chiefs of Staff or something like that, is constantly like, he's a communist. He shouldn't help us at all. Rah, 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 like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Sounds very American.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like a commentary on that, and it's really funny. So like, and the film is so it is actually considered one of the best comedies ever made. So, and it is also one of the greatest films of all time. So in 1998, the American Film Institute actually ranked it 26th on its list of best American movies in the 2007 edition. In the 2007 edition, it was actually ranked 39th. But so it was listed number 3 in its list of funniest American films, and in 1989, the United States Library of Congress included Dr. Strangelove as one of the first 25 films selected for preservation in the National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. So that's what I would highly recommend Dr. Strangelove. It is a really funny film, a really greatly directed, greatly acted film. I believe Peter Sellers plays 3 characters in this entire film. He plays Mandrake. He plays Mandrake. He plays the President, Muffley, and he also plays the titular Dr. Strangelove, who is actually a nuclear war expert and a former Nazi who uses a wheelchair. So
he plays 3 different characters?
Yeah, he plays 3 different characters. Yeah.
And where can we watch this?
You can watch it on HBO Max.
Okay.
You can watch it on HBO Max. It is a really good film. I highly recommend it. If you watch anything from Stanley Kubrick, watch Dr. Strangelove. Some people would say The Shining, but I would recommend Dr. Strangelove.
I
What?
would say
The Shining.
The Shining's a great film too. Don't get me wrong, but also check out Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah, I will. I just have two shows that I just want to quickly recommend. I mean, I'm not going to go into too much detail because they're pretty well known. So first, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is back for its last season.
Okay.
And I started watching. There's 2 episodes available right now on Hulu, but the starting episode is so strong. Like, I immediately fell in love with Brooklyn Nine-Nine again, and I remember why I enjoyed watching this show, even though it's about a cop. It's about cops. It's a cop show. But I just realized how much I missed them. So go watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine if you're a fan of them. Also, speaking of Cold War and nuclear nukes and stuff like that, be sure to watch Top Secret UFO Projects Declassified on Netflix, because I learned a lot. There are a lot of stereotypes around aliens and stuff like that that this like kind of like debunks. Like it kind of like tells you that's not true. You know, this is actually the true accounts, the true witness accounts and stuff like that. So there's a lot that you find out about. It also made me feel like the Men in Black organization can actually be real. Like
you never thought about, you didn't hear the real life accounts of actual Men in Black?
No. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen anything like that. But like the way that these episodes explain like how the government is behind, and like I don't know, I don't want to give it away, but there's a lot of things that they've kept hidden basically, and now that they really can't anymore.
basically just watch it.
Yeah, basically just watch it. Those are my recommendations.
Okay. What about you, Serenity? What do you got for us?
I'll probably say Pan's Labyrinth is a really good one that I would recommend.
That's another fantasy one. So if you love fantasy, but Pan's Labyrinth is kind of like in another language. I think it's like Spanish.
It's in Spanish.
Yeah, it's in Spanish, but
Spanish.
it has subtitles.
Yeah, but the story is like really interesting. I mean, it's directed by Guillermo del Toro, so if you know his movies like about monsters and stuff like that,
And that's on Netflix, so
That's
you
on
can watch that on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dark fantasy film. You can watch.
That's
Yeah.
my recommendation.
Yeah.
What about you?
What about Jane? What do you got for us?
I actually got you for a Korean movie. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you're not. I'm not sure. Like, it's a pretty old one before the Parasite, so it's called Along with the Gods.
Along with the Gods.
Along with the Gods.
The Gods. Yeah, you can try. I really like the story. So it's the story about a very good man died. So he had to, after he dies, he had to go to the hill to pass 49 days. So after in this 49 days, he gonna go to 7 tasks, and after that he gonna go to the heaven. So the story is about in this 49 days what's gonna happen, and you're gonna reveal all his life, because he is a really great man. Like, you should be totally fine with this 49 days hell, but actually it's not. There's a lot of things happen. So it's a very new and very different story. And also because recently the Korean movie are going to the American market, and I think more and more people loving them. And this one is
Parasite.
It's actually a pretty typical Korean movie style. So it's a different way that telling story from the American movie. So I think that's a good one. Like, you guys can try. So it's actually have 2 movies. So Along with the Gods have 2. So but actually these 2 movies are together. The storyline is come along, so you can watch the first one and then go to the next one. It's actually a very long story, but they separate into 2. So it's gonna be, if after watching 2 movies, it's gonna cost you 4 hours or 5 hours. But that's a good one. So I actually just checked, and the first one, the 2 Worlds, is right now in YouTube, and it's free. So you can just go to the YouTube and watch it. But apparently you need to open the subtitle. So, but also you can watch on the Apple TV or Amazon Prime.
Yeah. It looks like
Oh,
you
I'm
can.
too. Okay.
It looks like you can watch part. You can't watch part one anywhere, but part two is available on Hulu.
Yes. Let me see the last 49 days.
Yeah, the last 49
the
days.
last two, the part two is on the Hulu, but the part one is on the YouTube, and you can watch free right now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you. And again, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you had a good, fun time with us.
Of course.
You can follow Jin on social media, IG at Cynthia Yan97. And you can follow us at Wacky Talkies. It's wacky_talkies on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. And yeah, so Nate and I just wanted to also get a little bit pumped up about our movie that we're starting production on this weekend, right,
Yeah.
Nate?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. We've been doing pre-production for 3 months already. We got pretty much everything ready. Hopefully we'll get everything. Everything will go smoothly. We were able to adjust everything as we can. We are going to do a really, really good job, I hope.
Yeah, we're
hopefully.
going to be safe on set, and we're all going to have a great time. So stay tuned to hear more about that so you guys can watch that amazing film that we are going to shoot this weekend.
Right.
All right, so thank you. I have been Ruby Rodriguez from Serenity.
And I've been Nathaniel Avila.
Gene,
yes.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Vision podcast, home of Wacky Talkies, The Kingdom, Evil Exists, and many more.